All right. Hey, team. We are very privileged tonight. We have Ambassador Diamond Rachel Williamson with us, and she is here to answer some questions. She's going to share her story, and I just absolutely love her to pieces. I know I share a lot of her stuff, so you guys, most of my team knows who you are, but I don't know that a lot of them know your actual story about how you got involved with It Works. I just share your awesome inspiration, and you just make me smile, and I love you. So,
I love you
you want to share with us your story? Like, how are you here?
too. Okay. And how long do you want my story to be? I can add
We are
tips.
here as long as you want to hang with
Okay.
us.
I can add tips along the way, or I cannot do that, so it just depends on what you want.
How
But
do I make it to where you're big when you're the one talking?
speaker view, I think.
That's
I'm
what
gonna look at all of you guys, so don't go off your video.
Okay. That's what I have it. I have it set on speaker view, but everyone's still like Brady Bunch style. So,
That's okay.
okay.
I like the Brady Bunch style.
Okay.
I like looking at everyone.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay, so I joined in 2013. I just celebrated 4 years in February 21st or 26th. Now I can't remember, but it was one of those days, and I joined, and it was amazing because leading up to that, you guys, we were broke. The reason why was that we lived on the border of Texas. That's where I met Jeremy. He's from Oregon. I'm from Missouri. We met in Texas, got married, and then started living. I just turned 21 when I got married to him. So I was a baby, and I had like all the full dreams and aspirations to go. I was doing ministry school, but I had dreams and aspirations to do college and do all that stuff. That didn't happen because I fell in love and got married. And then 6 months later, we got pregnant. So I was like, okay, well, this wasn't on the radar. I was definitely one of those women that didn't, did you guys have girls in your class that would be like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be a homemaker. I just want to have babies, and I want to be at the house, and I want to cook food and take care of my family. Do you guys have friends like that? I did. It was like everybody, I was like, wow, I don't want to do that, but God had different plans. So I'm like young, married, and pregnant. And I was like, this was not the plan at all, but God has another plan apparently. So I kind of just jumped right into what my husband was doing. He was a children's pastor, and then he was also prior to that, he was like a missionary in El Salvador. And so I married into the ministry, and just full feet, both feet, just right in there. And it was awesome, but it was very busy. And very quickly I learned that this is not you don't marry a man for the money in ministry. There's obviously no money in it. We made $20,000 a year when we married. Okay. So that was all we needed to live on though, because we lived in a really cheap city. It was one of the top 10. If you search it, it's one of the top 10 cheapest cities in the United States. Now we live in one of the top 10 most expensive cities in the United States. And so the transfer from going down there to up here is what broke the bank. And we were comfortable living, financially down there, and even on that little bit. But coming up here just was a totally different story in Colorado. Colorado is super expensive. Everyone wants to live here apparently. But this was where we felt called to start a church. So, we were living there for almost 10 years. We lived a year in Africa with our daughter. And so anyways, ministry was always my life with Jeremy. And then coming here, starting the church. So he was working full time, 40 hours a week, and trying to start a church. And God called us to a place that we knew no one. So usually when people start churches, if they do research, they go to their hometown and they use people, they connect with people that they know. So we moved to a place we don't know anyone. Okay. So my story will make sense to you more later, but so I'm pregnant with my third child. He's working full time, trying to start a church. It was insane. He was putting in over 40 hours a week from working. And then our rent alone was $1,700 a month just to live in a house. And so my mom moved in from Missouri. She's trying to split rent with us. Everyone's just trying to make it. And I've got all these children that I'm taking care of. And obviously not having a degree, I'm home with them. So I was feeling kind of hopeless, you guys. I was at a place where I was like, okay, God, I really wish I could help my family, but the only thing I know to do is like be the daycare provider basically, because daycare is too expensive to put my kids in and then work for nothing. So I was like, God, please help me. I was also somebody, like, we have family members who tried direct sales companies, you know, network marketing, MLM, whatever you want to call it. And I wasn't impressed. I also wasn't impressed with getting like coaxed into, at our church in Texas. I remember a lady invited Jeremy and I over for dinner, and we didn't even know it was a pink, like a Mary Kay party. And she had us soaking our feet in like tubs with like spa beads. And Jeremy's like, what is going on? Like, I thought we were coming over for dinner. And so this whole thing happened. So that was my impression of parties, like getting tricked into it. And I was so, I don't know, I was just like, my mind was not in a place where I would even be interested in doing something like this. My, you know, sister and his sister tried things too. It just wasn't, I don't know, just, I figured it was because they liked the product, so they just wanted a discount. I didn't know people made money with this sort of thing. To be honest, I even like would be curious, and I'd be like, I wonder how much people make, you know? So I would like search different companies or whatever, and I could never find an income chart. Okay. So just so you guys know, if you Google It Works income chart, you will find one. If you Google like a bazillion other companies, I can never find a single one. And I'm just so proud that our company will put income out there. Like, they will actually show you averages of real distributors and what they make. Okay, so like that should make you so proud as a representative of our company that we actually have something to show people. Like, it's for real, you know? And so anyways, like that was one of the first things I did when I heard about It Works. I Googled the income chart, and I was like, oh my gosh, like if I could make an extra $500 a month, then I could help my family out. And we need it. And I don't have to have a degree for this. And like, those are some big numbers up there. And I have no clue if this is real. Like, I don't know if they really make that, but like, I honestly, like, that's probably not even real, but I can make $500 a month, and that will help my family. And so that's kind of where we were at. I had a friend ask me to join, and Jeremy was like, no way, no how, you're not doing that. And then guess what? My sister joined, and then he couldn't say no. You know, he's like, oh, okay, great. Now that Melissa's joined, Rachel has to do this too. But I had already been feeling pulled into it. You know, I was like feeling this like good feeling. That was all I had, but I knew it was a good feeling. And so I joined. You guys, I joined 4 years ago, and I had no idea what I was doing. I got thrown onto a double diamond page. So I wasn't even like in any top income earners pages. I wasn't on an ambassador thread at all. Like, you guys are so lucky to have Amanda. Like, I was just kind of there, and I had no idea what I was doing. And so I was like, okay, what do I do? And I seriously had to dig for it, because my sister joined around the same time I did. And so she was clueless too. And so I figured out that like the steps to success would actually create income for you. And so I asked that double diamond, because double diamond seemed like they made a lot of money, you know? And I was like, hey, how did you do that? Like, did you really do that? You know? And like, are you really making that? Can I just ask you that? And she was like, yes, I am making that. I did it. And you can too. Steps to success: enroll 4 customers and 3 distributors in your first month doing this. Okay. She was like, go do that, and then come back to me when you're done. That's literally all the stuff she told me. I had no idea what a customer was. I had no idea what a distributor was. I was like, am I a distributor? I think that's what I am. I mean, I guess so. I need to get 3 more like me. Like, I was clueless, and that's all she left me with. So if I can do this, you guys, so can you. And I always say, like, just fail forward. Like, as long as you're moving, you're doing something, you know, like, and you'll learn. Like, just fail forward, learn along the way, you know, figure it out along the way. If you say the wrong things, if you blitz the wrong words, it's okay. Don't make that stop you. Make it propel you to the next level, you know? And so I was just messaging people. I didn't even know anyone in my town. She was like, you need to have a wrap party too. Go ahead and do a wrap party. I'm like, how do I do a wrap party? And she was like, I don't know, just YouTube it. And I was like, okay. So I'm like YouTubing wrap parties. I have no idea who I'm watching. Like, seriously, I was like, okay, I've got to figure this out, because I'm desperate. We need money. We're not making enough to even pay our bills. Like, making $24,000 and rent is $1,700 a month. You can do the math and figure out very quickly that we were going into debt. We had over $30,000 of credit cards maxed out, and we didn't even have student loans to pay off. It was just debt, you know? And so anyways, I'm motivated, you know? And so anyways, I was asking everyone, and I was like, you should do this with me and come do this. And they were like, I have no idea what we're doing. And I'm like, it's okay, just join me. It's only $99. Let's figure it out together. So I just gathered enough people and I was like, hey, you're just supposed to enroll 3 distributors and 4 customers. I think I actually was teaching such a simple step that like, that's probably what helped my new distributors too. Like sometimes we overcomplicate, we overlearn, and we overdo things. And like, we need to keep it really, really simple, And so like, keep things simple when you're working this business. So I got my 3 friends on, and then I got 4 customers, and then I was selling some wraps and cash and stuff. And so I was like super excited about it. And, as people would tell me no, I would ask them. I even had a wrap party. I didn't sign any customers, but I wrapped people. I didn't even know how to do that. I was like, I think I have a website. You can go to that, and sign up, So like, I had no idea how to sell anything in my life. I had to learn along the way, but, I signed up those 4 customers and 3 distributors. I went back to her and I was like, okay, I did it. What do I do next? And she was like, you did it? And I was like, well, yeah, you told me to do that. And so I was like, I'm going to do it if you tell me to. And so anyway, she was like, basically you just do that on repeat. You do that every month and then you'll be successful like me. So I started doing that, but no one told me about charting. So I'm just like building wide. And she was like, oh my gosh, you need to learn charting. And so like, she sent me some videos. I started researching. See, I was doing all this by myself. I was trying to figure out how to do this business, figure out how to chart. And once I figured out how to chart, you guys, I promoted to Ruby, but then I sat at Ruby for months and months and months and months and months. And then I figured out how to chart, and I went diamond like the next month. I was like diamond and then double diamond the next month. It was like, it turned on. And so anyways, like after learning how to chart and really figuring it out, then I was like, gosh, I'm just filling these boxes. I'm teaching people how to build a volume. This is so exciting. And so then at a year I went triple diamond, but even seeing that diamond paycheck, it like jumped from $500 a month to, I just skipped Emerald altogether, but making $500 a month to $2,000 was like, like, we're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I just made more money than you, Jeremy, in a month. And so anyways, he was definitely in those first months, like mini money months, 6 months, he was like, you should quit. Just give up on this. You're working too hard. You're only making a couple $100 a month. You should quit. So he was definitely one of those, and he's a great guy and you'd love him if you met him, but he was not that supportive of network marketing. And so he was like, you should just quit. And I'm like, no, I've got vision. I'm going somewhere, And so don't listen to them because men are numbers, they only see numbers. They don't dream. They're just like, let me see it on the paycheck. Like, you work hard, let me see it. You know what I mean? And so like, you have to work to get to diamond, to show him that paycheck and be like, oh. And then when I went double, that was more than we'd ever made, And so like seeing $5,000, he was like, no way. And I was like, I'm rich. And I'm a double diamond, I'm rich, So anyways, I was so excited about that. And then I just sat there for like about 5 or 6 months, and I was building my business, but then I noticed people quitting and I was discouraged, and I was like, well, what's going on? Why are people quitting? I don't understand this. I work hard, like I've got grit. I'm not giving up on this, but other people did. And I was sad for them, but I kept going. It didn't stop me. It kept propelling me, forward. And so anyways, I went to my first conference. It changed my life. And right after that, I went triple diamond. A month after that, I went triple, saw a $10,000 paycheck. And we were like, no way, 1 year. Like, I'd have to go to 4 years, 6 years of school, college to get this kind of income. And I just did this in a year because I worked my tush off, And so then, like right after that, you guys, I went presidential like 4 or 5 months later. And I just kept working hard. I kept my foot down on the pedal, and I was just going 100 miles an hour. I was like, no one's stopping me. This is incredible. When I went to presidential diamond, you guys, I was like, oh, I can pay off our debt. Like, you can quit your job and I can pay off our debt. And you guys, I did that. And within months, all of our $30,000 was wiped out. Jeremy was able to quit his job, his full-time job. And then he was able to fully focus on starting this church. And that was really where we started to see growth in our church, because he could put his energy there. Before, it was just putting his energy in a 9-to-5 job that barely paid him any money. And so anyways, putting my energy and efforts here really, really paid off over time. It just took time. And 2 years, I was presidential. And then after that, I went ambassador. So in 2 years' time, I went ambassador diamond. I worked really, really hard for that. And then since then, I've just continued to just be focused and be committed. And because of it, we're just, we're able to dream so much more. Before, we only had like one car. and it was a piece of junk. It sat sideways. It was always falling apart. People would stop me as I was driving it and they'd be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Like, this is what I've got. Okay. Like, don't judge me." And so they really did. Like, the car sat sideways. It would drive along the road. Like, the axle was broke or something, but we couldn't afford to pay for it. So, I mean, it sounds silly, but that's really was our life. It was just like we were always surviving. And then God totally opened our eyes to entrepreneurship and the power of this company and like what it can do for your life. And so, the everyday grind, I know that it's not as romantic when it comes down to the day-to-day business, you know, like we've got these BOGO kits, and how many people did you talk to? You know what I mean? Like, how many people at the end of the day did you talk to? And can you say, like, are you proud of that work? And then tomorrow you're going to do it again. Are you doing online wrap parties? Are you networking? Are you talking to people? And so anyways, like, this business will pay off, but you've got to be sure that you're really committed to it and like following up and just working it day after day after day. And one day those lights will turn on and you're just going to explode your business. And that's the moment that you're like, I've got this, you know, but like, that's got to transfer. And that may take time. That may really take time. But once it turns on, I promise you, there will be no stopping you. It took me a long time to figure that out. But once I did, it was like, boom, diamond, double, triple, presidential ambassador. And so I think the same thing, kind of Amanda's story is really similar to mine. But yeah, I mean, we moved from renting, you guys, we did the math. And out here in Colorado, since rent is so expensive, over the last years, we've paid off $100,000 of that person's mortgage. $100,000. Yuck. Like, good for them, but bad for us. Like, where's that money? We have nothing to show for it. And so what we did, after we got out of debt, we started saving and saving and saving. And then we were able to buy a cute little house that's just perfect for our family, that we can afford and that we can live in Colorado without renting. So we're paying down our mortgage now. We're not paying off someone else's. And so that has been one of the biggest things for us, is just being able to, you know, have a home. And that literally like was impossible. And so even this past conference, I was able to walk across as a millionaire. I have made $1 million in the last 4 years with this company. And, you know, paying off debt was a big part of where that money went. And then saving for a home and taking care of our family, you know, like, because of the expense out here. And so I'm just really, really grateful. We've been able to give more, donate more away. We've given a ton to our church for it to actually work here. And so anyways, I know that God's provided all that we've needed because of where we're at. But just doing the math and like knowing that we've made $1 million over the last 4 years is pretty insane. Because we did the math and it would have taken us over like 60, 75 years or something. It was something ridiculous. Like, I'd be very, very old in a wheelchair at this point. You know, by the time that I could make that much, maybe, well, let's hope not. I'm not. Hopefully I'm like super healthy and fit and I'm moving along at 75. But to make $1 million, like based off of what we used to make, it would have taken me until I was 75 years old. That's disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, that's sad. But we've been able to travel the world, give to missions. I love to travel. And so like, just even being able to invest in that and do that with the income that we have has been such a blessing. So anyways, like, it has opened my eyes to see so much more of the world and so much more opportunity to live like a life without debt on our shoulders, to have a home, just to be able to pay bills, buy groceries, you know, all those things that we struggled with before. Some of you may struggle with right now. And, you know, keep your dreams alive, because those things are there for a reason, and God will give you the desires of your heart if you work hard. So that's my story.
Well, thank you. So I was sat here with my calculator. I did my math, and, you know, as a cop, like, maxed out pay, it would have taken me 25 years to make $1 million.
25 years.
25 years. And I did it in 2.5 here. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And with a college degree, I was making like $2,500 a month as a full-time worker, just FYI.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So Rachel, I love this first question because I love, you know, obviously I know you personally, we're friends, and people that follow you, a lot of my team I know follows you. You are just such an uplifting, always positive, always happy. You always have a prayer to go. I mean, there's just never seems like there's ever rainy days for Rachel. So I know that is obviously not true, but this person, Nicole, said you are very much a light and an inspiration. And she says, it seems like every time she gets going with her business, she gets knocked backwards. Something happens at her full-time job or in her personal life. So how do you, if you have bad days or things come up, like how do you remotivate yourself for your business?
Well, I think you have to remember that Facebook is a highlight reel. So that is a highlight reel of the day, okay? Or what's coming out of the heart and from prayer time or something. But besides that, I mean, I'm facing all the same difficulties, the same insecurities, the same things that any other person would be. Whether, you know, it's children stuff, it's marriage stuff, it's church stuff, or, I mean, there's a bazillion things you could fill in the blank for anyone. And that's a problem. And so what I've learned over time being in ministry are that humans are all very much alike. We're all very similar. We all carry similar pains. And maybe the things that happen to you is different than the things that happened to me, like in my child life and teenage life that shaped those years. But when it comes down to like what we think about, what we do, what we experience in the day-to-day grind of adults, like we're dealing with very similar things. And so learning how to just juggle those things and stay consistent with this business. It's almost like, I feel like with having it works in my life, I really had to compartmentalize because I understand a lot of the same struggles that all of you guys do. My husband works full time. So, you know, where does that leave our family? We have a church, and with the church, it's like we deal with all people. You know, so it's not like you can just go clock in, clock out. It's like he's dealing with people, and it's the same as his business. Like they don't leave you alone. You know what I mean? Like he's Zooming with the staff right now. And so like learning how to just juggle it. It's just, I have to take one day at a time. And if I'm discouraged one day, I'm still going to post. I'm still going to message some people, you know, because like that's part of the job description of what I've got to do to get it done. You know, and so like if I want to go somewhere or do something, it's like I have to keep dreaming those things up, you know, and I have to keep working for those things, and I have to do it for my kids to kind of put my feelings aside, selfless business. And so like if you're able to put yourself aside and really focus on the goal of what you need to do, then you'll get more things done in the day, you know, and you go to bed at night and you're like, you know what? I haven't been that happy. I haven't had that great of a day. My kids are a mess, whatever. But I feel like I gave it my all. Whether I gave it my all as a mom, as a wife, as a woman, you know, as a person who's working, like, did I give it my all? You know, and then there's other times where you just have to unplug. And I think being able to take care of your soul and unplug, like if you need to take, I did 3 power hours in a row today. Okay. And that's like a lot of like talking to people for these BOGO kits. And I was like super focused. I was also working with my team and helping them word things. And I was completely pooped. I was supposed to meet with one of my double diamond leaders at like 1, but we got together and I was like, I am so exhausted. I like can we just talk about God and the good things that like is going on in our life right now? Like, I just got to unplug. And she was like, absolutely. And so we didn't even talk about it works. We just spent 1 hour of our time. And that was a good power hour in the fact that I just needed my soul cup to be filled. You know, and I even made a post about that today. And so we just sat over coffee. We were supposed to do a power hour together, but I was just pooped. And so you've got to know yourself too. And you've got to give yourself grace for like little blitzes. You know what I mean? Like throughout the day, but you have to work. Like you have to give yourself time to work, and then you have to give yourself time to rest. And if you're working full time and trying to juggle this, then you have to be so concentrated on those little, you know, powers of 5 or 10 minutes that you're so good at it. You know, like you become so skilled at those powers of like 10-minute increments, you know, that you get here and there. Like while you're on the toilet, you're like, instead of just going to the bathroom, you're like sitting there like while you're working, you know, and you're like, you're in the bathroom and you're trying to follow up with someone, or you're putting out a post because you're like, I haven't posted today. And so anyways, it's always got to be on your mind, but then you also got to be able to balance. And so I found out that the best way for me to do this is just live one day at a time, write it down on the calendar. And when you get there, do it, deal with it. I don't know if that helps, but I hope it does.
It's good. You kind of touched on what the next question was. I know right now it's BOGO, so I feel like we're all working like a little extra overtime for us. Yeah. But a lot, we're focusing a lot right now with my team on just exactly what you said, being intentional. You can get to Ambassador Diamond working full time if you can commit a solid 2 to 3 hours a day. That's it. That's all you need. Because we spend all day posting and commenting, and we think we're working, but we're not. So you kind of touched on, like, you did 3 power hours today. So let's say Rachel worked for 3 hours today. So they kind of want to know, what does like a day in the life of Rachel look like? So as far as how I guess first kind of tell us how you grow your business, and then what you might do for your business in a day or an hour.
Well, I mean, I think it's shifted over time, and yours has probably done the same thing. I think that when I was in the grind of like building and charting and like moving up, I had 2 little kiddos at home. My daughter was in kindergarten at the time, but I had 2 boys, and they're like 18 months apart, you know? So like, it was completely chaotic. It was like a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I remember what that life is like, and that is a full-time job in itself. But you know, like, there were sacrifices I had to make. And I did grow this business because I used concentrated time. So I feel like if you have too much time, you don't use it right. But like, if you use concentrated time, so like, do a power hour here, do 30 minutes here. So I'd have the kids, like, after Aisha got to school, then I'd put a cartoon on. I'd be like, okay, they're watching 2 cartoons. That's an hour of cartoons. But I was like, they're doing that, you know? And so like, we stayed home more. Like, I used to go out a lot more, take them to the library, do all these things, but like, stayed home because I had something to do. And so like, I would put the TV on for them, and I would message 5 people. And I didn't like even save scripts back then. Like, at least now people can save stuff. But like, I was writing like someone authentically every single day. I'd be like, I'm going to write these 5 people. No one told me what to do. No one told me what number to get. I just was like, I'm writing 5 people genuine letters every day. I was just literally working this business on my own. So I would write them genuine letters asking them to join me. Like, I would put out posts and get loyal customers, but the messages really were all focused on signing up distributors, because I knew that would take more work. And so anyways, I would do that in the morning while they watch cartoons, and then I would spend time with them, take them to the park. Maybe I'd meet a mom. And if I did, I'd add them to Facebook. I wouldn't even tell them about what I was doing. I would just make a friend and be genuine and care about them. And so like, instead of blitzing them, because I tried blitzing people, but they'd be like, are you calling me fat? And I'm like, well, apparently I'm not doing this right. You know? So I was like, I'm just going to make friends, and I'm going to add them on Facebook, and eventually they're going to learn about what I do, you know? And it ended up working out. And I think that's what a lot of people do now. But you know, so I just take them, and obviously like, I'm networking throughout the day, you know? And then they came home, they both took naps, and I worked. I had the biggest obsession with The View and Food Network. I don't know if y'all watch that, but like, I watched it faithfully, religiously every single day. The View was definitely like, I was like, this is my morning thing. I'm gonna drink my coffee, watch this. And then in the afternoon, I was like, Food Network, I'm an amazing cook. I'm gonna be a chef one day. And you guys, I have not watched any of that, Food Network or The View, since I started this business, ever. Like, I have become the worst cook in the world. I'm still good. Like, it's the same thing. I cook the same thing over and over again, because like, I haven't ever developed that gift in me anymore. You know, like, I got really good, and then it's like, stop, because I only cook those same things. Anyway, so there are some sacrifices that you have to make. I don't watch TV. I just don't. Like, at night at 10 o'clock is when I finally sit down and I'll watch a show with Jeremy, and I have to turn my phone off. But that was just how I did this business. So I would do it a little bit in the morning. I would do it in the afternoon. As soon as we put the kids down, I would do it again. And it's pretty much my same rhythm. I mean, I can work more now because my boys are older. I've got 2 of them in school, so only 1 is here, and 1's going into kindergarten next year. But I built this business with so much going on. And we didn't have any staff members at church. So it was like Jeremy and I were leading worship. He was preaching. It was absolutely insane. So I totally get people who have busy lives, and you just have to like fit it in when you can, but you've got to do it every day. And that was something that I did do, was I worked this business every day. I did wrap parties on the weekends. I was always making friends, bringing them into my, network on social media. I built entirely through Facebook. I still have never built through Instagram whatsoever, but I've learned how to do it. I know how to do it, and I can train my team on how to do it. So do you know it even if you don't do it? Can you still teach your team those things? So anyways, I feel like learning that and doing that, hopefully that helped. Amanda.
So would you say that now do you use like scripted messaging, or do you still try to like write things out yourself?
I do both. So like there's some messages that I really liked that I would just start, saving. Even back then, I was like, ooh, that one was a really good one. I like the way I said that. So I'd save it, and then I'd like text myself. I don't even think we had notes on phones anymore. Like I have an iPhone, so I have notes, and so I'll just save stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, I think like still even to this day when I'm talking to a potential, I'm going to be authentic. Like I don't just copy and paste. If I'm giving an outline about it works, that's always going to be the same. But like outside of that, like my conversations are usually really genuine. And I mean, I may not be pulling in 25 people a month, but the people that I pull in are going to be good people. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be people that I worked hard to get, and they're not going to fall off.
I think me and you are the same in that, my first couple months, I might have signed more people but you and I've seen threads where we both, we are steps to successors. I mean,
yes.
3 to 5 distributors a month, but I think that's really important to show. Both of us got to ambassador and, between 1 to 2 years. And it was because we signed 3 to 5 people every month. We weren't out there signing 50 distributors a month. This business is so simple. And I think sometimes we get sidetracked. Oh my gosh, she signed however many people, but it's not necessary. If you really coach your people. So on that topic, say you signed up me today, and we get this question a lot. How do you get somebody going? And, I think it's all about the person that you sign, but what would you do if you signed me up today?
So I have an email that I created. I had one when I first started. I took the one that I was sent and I saved it, and I sent it for a long time until It Works came out with their like 3-day email. Do they do that still?
They do.
They do? Oh, good.
Well, I don't know if it's 3 days, but it's like maybe like 3 days and then 2 weeks. It's still like they space them out.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So anyways, I stopped doing that when they came out with theirs, but then I realized I need something. So I recently came up with another one, and I send that out to my new distributors. And basically it's just step by step, do this first. Make a post, announce that you actually joined. Here's something to say. And then I just kind of like go through it, log into your eSuite, go through your training. Don't do anything else until, you step through that or whatever. And then kind of just the basics, like steps to success, get 4 customers on board. That's like mom, dad, aunt, uncle, the people, your go-to people, who are those go-to people? Those 2 best friends, that you don't think would do this business, but would totally sign up. Those go-to people, get those 4 people on as soon as you can, like within the week, so like I put some upfront pressure on them, but like, and then I'm like, come back to me once you finish that, and I'll add you to my team page too. And so always be adding people to Amanda's team page. Don't ever skip out on that. I always have them set up an ADBV auto ship, but if I don't have them do it, then when they go through their training, they're going to learn that that's really important in running their business. And so successful people run their auto ship. And then typically like within 24 hours, I try to get them on the phone. I'll either try to FaceTime with them or get them on the phone and just chat with them and kind of see like, what are they dreaming about? Like, what are their dreams? What are their goals? Do they have 4 people that they could talk to? Let me like strategize with you. So just very basic. I try not to overdo it right away.
So Rachel, nobody has ever quit on you in 3 years, right?
Oh, no, never. Everybody's just stayed on.
So how can you, because I'm very, very red. You are more of, are you like, I know you have red in you, but I think of you more as like a sweet yellow person. So I have
my husband would be like, you don't have any yellow in you.
I have a team full of yellow people, and they take it very personally when people quit on them. So what would you say to somebody who says, but my distributors I signed, they quit?
Oh my gosh, I just signed a girl from Canada, and she was watching YouTube videos before she even joined. She was so excited, blah, blah, blah. She signed her loyal customer. I moved one to help her get her fast start bonuses, and she literally has disappeared off the planet. That is like
a
very
kidnapper.
common.
That's what we call them. They're kidnappers.
They are kit robbers. Yes, they just sign up, take the kit, and then they disappear. It was just so weird. Like, she even unfriended me. And I was like, did you unfriend me? She left my team page. And she was like, no, I would never unfriend you. And I was like, well, you did. And she was like, well, I sent you one back. I didn't unfriend you. But now she like won't even talk to me, And so like, you guys, this is a common occurrence. So you have to get used to it. You work hard to get distributors. And then like, yeah, I mean, there's a success rate, but this is the thing is that you have to look at, you're either going to look at it at the glass half full or it's going to be half empty, right? So you can either look at it like this is half empty all the time, or you're like, this is half full, because one day I'm going to sign out of all the people I sign, I'm going to sign 5 people who are going to learn how to go ambassador because they want it so bad. And when I get those 5 people on board, I'm going to go ambassador because they're going ambassador and we're going together. And so like you may work all year to get just a couple of people on board, but those couple of people may be your absolute rock stars. And so you have to learn that, like, I love what Pam Souter said one time. I went to my first One Team One mission when I was Diamond. And she said, and she happened to be at that One Team One mission in Denver. And I remember she said, some people are just not made to be a millionaire. They just can't handle it. And I was like, well, that's rough. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those people. You know what I mean? And so if you want to be someone who ended up making $1 million and over a period of years, even if that took you 10 years, would signing up enough people to find those 5 gems be worth it? If I threw you into a gym, imagine like a school gym, how big that is. And there are shoe boxes, millions of them, filled up all the way full in that entire gymnasium. And I said, there's $1 million in one of these boxes. Go find it. Would you go look through every single one until you found that $1 million check, right? You would. It would take you forever. What if there were like stacks of ones, and just like 5 boxes or 6 boxes, but you had to open all of them in order to find them. And it took you like until you went through the entire gymnasium. Would you do it? You didn't even care if it took you 10 years to go through all of those stacks, like you would do it. And so it's the same thing with this business. Like you may have to go through a lot of shoe boxes, but like eventually you're going to find those gems, those treasures of people who totally change everything for you and for them, And so like, it's just like magic. And it may take time. It may take work. Some of those people you may have to coach more. You have to walk with them, but if they have the grit, what is it? Like no grit, no pearl. Yeah. It's like no pressure, no diamond. Sorry. But like, the fact of life. I mean, life is that. I mean, God made it into the pearl just like that. He like the grit and the pearl and how long it takes to make a pearl. He made it into like diamonds, like some of the most treasured and rare things on the planet. It comes through a lot of pressure and a lot of grind and a lot of consistency. Same thing with gold. Like, what is it? It's like heated up so much or whatever, or silver, like getting the impurities out. Like it has to be heated up so much to like separate it. So that you can, and anyway, everything comes from pressure. Anything valuable comes from like pressure being made. So you have to think of that like with yourself too. It's like that success, those jewels are going to come through a lot of fire, a lot of like pressure, a lot of grit, but that's what creates success. And I don't know of a success story in the world, like when it comes to actors, when it comes to anyone famous, Bill Gates, all those people, Apple, the Apple guy, whatever his name is, like, all those people. I can't think of his name at the moment, but like, what is that man? Anyone know?
Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah, there you go. All those people, like when you read the amount of work, Babe Ruth, like even Mark said it. Who do you know who didn't struggle? It's not like it just like happens overnight. There's like, you see the highlight reel, but like you don't see all the work that was put in, all the grit, all the no's, all the I quits on you, and so that is just like growing your character. And I feel like a better way to grow your character than doing something like this. I mean, you're going to be a better human being after working this business. You're going to be smarter, better, sharper. You're going to have more grit than you've ever had before. You're going to be a better leader. You'll be a better like human being, because you're doing this. And so like, I would say the reward is there too. Like, don't underestimate like what you're experiencing and learning right now. It's the leaderships of life, like learning of life is in this business. So.
Awesome. Okay. My next question is a 2-part question.
Okay.
I was brand new. What's one piece of advice you would give me as a brand new distributor?
Make a hundreds list and start talking to them. I know, like, a lot of people, I'll be like, how many people have you talked to? Because they'll be like, oh, it's not working. And I'll always ask, how many people have you talked to? And they're like, oh, I've talked to 12. And I'm like, okay, when did you join? September? Okay, so talking to 12 people since September is not going to get you very far. Like, I had to talk to at least 50 people to get 3 distributors on board, and those were out of all the people that I knew, and I had to, like, really convince them. And out of those 3, like, only one stayed with me, and that girl's an ambassador now. Her name's Samantha Myers-Lopez. And the first, like, handful of people she signed all quit on her, And so, anyways, like, that's too much information. I don't share all that, but I'm just sharing that with you guys. Anyways, like, I typically will say how many, like, get a hundreds list, get 100, like, people that I don't know 100 people. I'm like, yes, you do. Let me go see how many friends you have on Facebook. Well, you're friends with 500. So go through here and pick 100 people out of this list, write their name down, and I want you to start talking to them. But then then you've got, like, maybe 7 to 10 go-to people. Maybe there's less. Maybe you can count them on one hand. Out of those go-to people, I want you to get 4 customers on board in the next week. That way you can practice, because those people are very forgiving. You don't know what you're doing. Practice on them. Sign them up, and then text me, and then I will walk you right through how to sign up your very first customer. And so that's what I do.
Okay, so what if I'm not a newbie, but I've been I stuck it out through 2016 that we won't spend too much time talking about, but I stuck it out, and I'm kind of starting fresh as far as a team and my business goes, but I've been around, so I know what the heck I'm doing, kind of. What would your advice be for me?
Keep doing it over and over and over. Work. Take one day out of the week and rest so that you have your cup filled. But all 6 other days, work this business. Work it. But keep your family on the line too. Like, blackout times are important. Have dinner with them. If that means that you're eating dinner on paper plates, then do that. If that means a rotisserie chicken and a Caesar salad, do that. Like, those are easy meals. Spaghettis are easy meals. Sit down and eat with your family and keep your phone away from you. So anyways, I think that balance, that time with your family is really important, but also, like, making sure, and I mean soul care, like, you guys, sometimes I'll go to a movie by myself. I'll be like, that's 2 hours. It's to myself. Like, I'm putting the kids to bed, I'm going to a movie. And you're like, I do not understand why you would ever want to watch a movie by yourself. But I'm like, I do. And you just have to be okay with it. Like, I just like it. It makes me happy. I want to go sit down, eat some, like, that kid's pack of popcorn and a soda. And I'm like, good to go the next day. You know what I mean? And so you have to know yourself. Then you have to know what your limits are. And when you get to that place, then you need to take care of yourself. So
awesome.
That's my best advice. Be consistent. Be consistent with your goals every day. Make sure you get those things done, and also treat yourself, because those things I think are really important. I like never got my nails done before I did this business. And then my sister was like, you need to take care of yourself. And then I kind of liked getting my nails done, and so, like, every now and then, like, before I go to a conference, I'm like, I'm going to go get my nails done. Don't do it very often, but it's like doing little things like that. Like, if you sell wraps, you sell a couple of wraps and be like, I'm going to buy I don't know, what do you like? I'm going to go do something, whatever you like to do. I'm going to go watch a movie by myself, and I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to go do it. So you have to do lots of those little treat things.
Yes. I had to give myself little rewards. Like, I just told someone, they're closing in on Diamond. When you go Diamond, then you can buy a Disney pass, things like that. I needed tangible rewards for my personality.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Like, when I got the good bonus, the first good bonus I ever got, I was like, we're going out to dinner and I'm buying, I hadn't even been paid yet, but I was like, we're going out to dinner because we couldn't even afford to do that. And I was like, we're going on a date night. We're going to the most expensive place in town, we're doing this.
I think oftentimes, our teams, especially as they've watched us, like, they forget that I would say that 99.9% of us ambassadors, we all started, like, in the exact same place. Like, going out to a nice dinner meant, okay, we're going to go out to Chili's, and that's because I have a free appetizer coupon and we're going to all have water. And, we're going to, if we can split a dessert, that's because we like crunched numbers out of a budget. Like that was like fancy gourmet for us, So I think it's just important that they hear like the struggles. I mean, we all had those struggles. All right. Let's see. I know we're closing in. So are you a list person? Like when you wake up every day, like, I know some people have printed out things. I do a handwritten calendar because I'm old school. They just like to know what other leaders do as far as like organization and how you focus to work your business.
You guys would be so disappointed in me. I am the worst, most organized person in my life. Like Cammie told us to print out that thing, and I don't even like. I'm like, what? How? I don't even know how to print. Jeremy, how do you get this thing off the computer? You know what I mean? So she's probably thinking I'm so lame because I didn't do it, but like I'm doing it. I talked with my team. I put them out we put out our goals, but maybe I didn't print that thing out. So anyways, like you guys, I probably am not that yellow, but I'm probably really blue, like I just like to have fun. I'd rather just go travel the world and party all day long, like I like to have a good time, not party in a bad way, but just like have a good time all the time. I'm like, let me just go sip coffee, go explore the world. Like that's me. Okay. So obviously I am not an organized person. And that's why I feel like if I can do this, you can too. And I'm still doing it. So
when you do a power hour,
you're probably very disappointed in this. I'm not organized.
I'm the same way. So it's good because now they know, okay, Amanda's not just blowing smoke. Cause I say that all the time. Like if people saw my office or I'm a disaster. So I think it's more common to be a disaster than to be super organized. So I
would rather just live my day. Like I just want to live day to day. And these people who have lists, I'm like, wow, like I just aspire to be like you, I'm like, whoa, you're so organized. That's amazing. I'm like, I feel so bad for my team because I'm like, I don't have any of those. So I'm like, I'll borrow things from other people who are. I'll be like, and know your weaknesses. Like I know that's a weakness of mine. So I'm not afraid to ask like, hey, I see you're a really organized person. You're very green. Will you help me come up with something that we can put on the team page that will help people? And so like they will, but you have to ask. So anyways, I think it's good to know your weaknesses.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, I think I kind of got through most of these questions. So you don't grow on Instagram. You're a Facebooker, yeah? Or a partier?
Yeah. No, Facebook for sure. I typically, I know that this business takes relationship building, So a lot of times I try, like, even if I meet someone in person, I'll just be like, do you have Facebook? I'd love to stay connected to you, and as soon as I do, I'll just mark them like as see first, or like I'll put them as close friends. So then I get alerted when they have an update so I can build that relationship with them. So if you do that too many times, you'll start to lose like, who am I talking to? I don't even know anymore, but like that is one way I could be organized is that if I'll just like, as soon as I friend request them or they accept my friend request, but I don't typically, you guys, I don't go through and just add people. Like on Facebook. I don't know if you teach that, but I don't, because they don't even, I tell people to, but like, they never accept my friend request. I must not like, I don't know. They don't accept my friend request. So I typically like to build relationships instead. Like I would rather get to know the person and make some sort of connection, or like if I've got a connection of a connection, I'll be like, do you have somebody that you would recommend that you think would love to do this? And if they say that, then I'll be like, okay, I'd message them and be like, hey, so-and-so told me to friend request you because they think you're amazing and they think we should be connected. If that's legit, then that will obviously work out better. But I always have to have some sort of know or relationship to build my business.
Awesome.
That might be also why I typically will sign 3 to 5 people a month. Like I'm more building relationships. So that takes time. So like if you think about it though, like marinating meat, it gets really good if it gives time. Like the same thing with this business. Like if you give time to let people marinate, like it'll get really good, but like you have to keep building that relationship. It's like dating, like if you're dating somebody, you're like really into them. You want to know what they're doing. So you're just dating like tons of people on social media. And so you're like, I want to get to know them and I want to get to know them. And so you got to build those relationships because that is what will help you actually build a successful business. Instead of just being like, oh, they just signed me up. They don't even care about me. Like, they don't even know who I am. If you know who they are, then you're going to invest in them more. And even if they quit, you'll just be like, well, Lord bless you, not made to be a millionaire, I guess. Like Pam Souter.
I think that's important too, because I had 3 people message me today from Facebook that are on my hundreds list, but I have not messaged them in probably a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks or so. And all 3 of them were in my inbox today. Okay, I saw your post about this business, but you know, those are going to be people that are invested in their business because they decided something had to happen in their mind where they're like, I'm ready to do this. Where if I'm just like harassing people and signing people just to sign them, just to fill a box, like there's not that connection there.
And they don't do anything. It's not worth signing them.
Yep. I would rather sign, like last month, I only signed 1 distributor last month, but I know I gave myself a pay raise. My volume was higher. I spent more time coaching, more time with the people that on my team. So I think that sometimes we need to get out of our own head. You know, maybe you're not going to sign your steps every month, but another month you might double it. So it's definitely about quality.
Yes. And comparison's killer. So you just cannot, you've got to stay in your lane and do your thing. You know, like comparison will kill you. So if you're following the wrong people and you're just like, then you need to unfollow them. You know what I mean? Like follow somebody who can like inspire you. But if your newsfeed is even full of It Works people, then you need to go through and unfollow all those It Works people, because you've got to be focused on all the people you want to bring into the business. You can't be focused on all these people who are in the business already. You've got to be focused on the people who aren't, you know? And so like, and if they're your friends or whatever, then just go look at their page every now and then, be like, what are they up to? You know, I wonder what they're doing. But follow a few. But then outside of that, you know, like focus on what the goal is there. If you're building through Facebook, I know Instagram's different, but.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, we have like 5 minutes left. So I am going to go diamond this month, but right now it is like what, the 6th, and I have like a full ruby chart, but I'm determined I'm going to go diamond this month. What are some final parting words for you to send me on my way to go get a giant bonus this month?
Okay, well, first thing I would have said to you was the end of the month, last month, get your chart out and chart all the way to diamond and know every bit of your volume after all the auto ships ran.
So we can still do that. Volume total by distributor, change it to February. So we can still do that.
Okay, cool. So chart all of that out. Okay, and like know exactly, circle every box that doesn't have a distributor name in it. And so if you've got 3 or 4, you can totally do that. You just have to talk to more people. And it's so funny when the pressure's on, you make it happen. I remember I had a 1 distributor box to fill to go ambassador. And I was like, that thing is getting filled. I will text every single person until I sign someone up. And I did. Like, I feel like when you know you're close, like you'll do whatever it takes. And that's the kind of action it takes in order to fill those boxes. So like if you have 3 or 4, I did that when I was going diamond. I had like 3. I did whatever it took that month. I was talking to people, you know, I worked hard for that promotion. So you need to know exactly all the volume. And then I would typically like, what I recommend doing is like you take your emeralds, your rubies, and your executives. Like take those people, whatever your chart looks like. Everyone's chart looks a little different, okay? You may have a perfect chart. You may have an overgrowth chart, but you're not there yet. You know, so take those people in promotional boxes, group them together and be like, you are going ruby this month. You are going executive this month. You're going emerald this month. This person, you need this much volume. This person, you need. So that actually does take some organizational skills. But once you write it all out and you're like, this person needs this much, this person needs this much, be like, okay, I want you to go emerald this month. That is my plan, is to help you make that happen, right? And so you're missing this and this and this. So we need to fill this box. We've got to get a distributor. You know, like who's going to be the one who makes it happen? Like, I want it to be you. So let's work together to get that box filled. And then be like, this person is missing 200 in volume. Can you get those loyal customers? We need to talk to this person in this box. You know, so I have all my promotional people in one message. And then I have all the people in my chart who are active, you know, like working or in that chart. I have them. And then I always did this, even like before, like I feel like from double diamond on, once I figured out how to chart, right? I group all those people together who are in a 400 box, those representatives. And I'd be like, everyone who runs their auto ship is going to be entered in for a prize. So I did a lot of prizes. And I'd be like, okay. And then, so every bit counts, right? And so this just takes a lot of motivation. I know it sounds silly, but, and then all those people in those like 400 boxes, I'm like, okay, you got to get to the 400 club. Like that's the first step to success. And so obviously we always talk about 400, like 400 is important. And so you work and you push and everybody's going together. Everyone's working for a prize. Even the 400 club, even if it's like they get like an awesome pen and a notepad or something that you can get like cute at the dollar store, like whatever you can afford, like give back. So I've always learned that if I give to my team, I'm going to get back. So if you give, you'll get, you know, and like that is a constant thing. Like with this business is that you give to your team, they give back, you give back, they give back. So it's a teamwork, you know? Anyways, so everybody is excited because everyone got to their goal at the end of the month. And when you get to those last couple days, you see, where are you at? Are you within the area to promote? Then you take that chart, you give it to Amanda and you say, here I am. I've got 5 days left. Auto ships rain on the 25th. This is what I'm looking at. How do I part the waters? Then you get the best of the best advice from them, and they will either tell you, this looks amazing for next month. Okay? Like you're going to work all these promotions out, but this looks like you're going to work as hard as you can for the next 5 days. And if it doesn't happen, you're there next month. But maybe you are there this month. Then if you are, then you do it. You know, push for these bonuses. But I was just telling somebody today, these bonuses, like, don't hold a bar to the residual income you can make with this company. So do not get down if you don't get the bonus that you want. Like, do not let that affect you. Like, let that propel you, like I was talking about earlier. Let it propel you to the next level. Because that is like, residual income is like what you want. Like, those bonuses will eventually fade out. And they're a nice perk, okay? But then the residual is there. And you're like, this is an awesome paycheck. So go for the residual. But anyways, that's my best advice for charting. It takes a lot of focus. You can do it no matter how busy you are, but you do need to have that chart out and Amanda will help you. But don't go to her with a blank chart. That is so messy. You know, like,
yes.
Go like study your chart and know the ins and outs. And if you need to, YouTube charting over and over and over until it clicks. And I tell you, it's like a light will turn on and you will get it. And there will be more things that you learn along the way. You can work with people up to 12 levels deep. You know, it's not something I sit there and tell my team because that's like so much information. But there's just so much on charting that you can learn. And once you get it, you're just going to be unstoppable. But I do feel like charting is absolutely vital for you guys to promote. So make sure that you're doing it and make sure that you always have a chart. Know where you're going. Know what you're doing. If you need to gain a Ruby back, then do that. Like, say, you know what? Like, 2016, like Amanda said, was kind of difficult. So I'm going to, like, my goal this month, I'm going to win Ruby back. Like, I'm going for this. I know exactly what volume I need to fill. Every time I sign a loyal, I know where to move it. I'm going to get that box to 400. I'm going to check it off. And then, like, the next person, I'm going to get that done and check it off. Boom, executive. And then you're like, okay, now Ruby, I'm going to get that done, get that done. Does that make sense? So you work like for that next promotion every single month. And if you don't get it, then you're like, awesome, I'm that much closer the next month. You've always got to look at it like the glass is half full. You cannot ever do this business with the attitude of the glass is half empty or you're not going to make it. Okay. So like transition your thoughts, you know, because all of us have the ability to like think of the glass half empty. So like just transition. And you've always got to be optimistic, always dreaming, always looking for that next thing. I hope that helps.
I love it. I love it. It's a lot of the same things that I say. You learn in this business, you're going to wear many, many hats. You're going to be the team cheerleader and the life coach and, you know, whatever. I'm sure, Rachel, you give people church advice, and I've been known to give people police advice, and you just kind of wear all these different hats, and it's just, it becomes part of your, it's family, you know? So thank you. I learned some things about your story that I didn't know. Like, I'll always remember your crooked car. I did not know that.
Oh, the windshield wipers, they went off all the time. And like, it never rains in Colorado. It's like high desert. And so it's like 90 degrees in the summer here. And the windshield wipers on a full sunny day were just always going, and they screeched because the rubber ran out. And I was just like, I mean, people would stop me. They'd be like, ma'am, your car's sitting sideways. Or like that just, you know, it was so embarrassing, you guys. But that was all I had. So I was like, this is my ride. I'm just in it.
I love it. So Rachel, I have one last favor for you, because you lift me up and you fill my cup even if you don't know it. So as we close up, I was wondering if you would just say a prayer to close us, and we're going to be on our way for the rest of March.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Lord, thank you so much for all these women. I don't know if men are on here, but thank you for all of them. Being able to see their faces and just listening tonight. I just pray that their cups are filled. God, I pray that the light bulbs would turn on for them, that you would encourage their heart. I know that all of us need a dream. And so I pray that you would plant a dream in their heart. Lord, this business is a vehicle to pursue their dreams. Lord, the things that you put in them, every single person on this planet is unique with their own DNA, with their own fingerprint, God. And I know that you've got a special plan for each and every one of us. We're not just made to blend in, but God, be a city on a hill, be a light to this dark world. And so I pray, God, that you give them purpose, that, Lord, they wouldn't believe the things that they've been spoken to, like the things that the enemy has lied to them, God, like worth, value. If people didn't believe in them growing up, if they said mean things to them, God, I pray that you would just dispel those lies and that you would breathe life into them and worth and value. God, that they are worthy and able and capable to do all things through Christ who strengthens them. And so, Lord, I just pray, God, as they go to bed tonight, that you would meet them in their dreams, that you would mess their life up, God, and fill them up with you, because you are incredible and you're the one who changes everything. And so we thank you that you have just invaded our life, Lord, in the most amazing ways through this company. And so I pray, God, that you'd bless all these people on this Zoom tonight, that you would fill their cups, but that you would bless them, that you would give them favor, and that you would send them runners into their business so that they would do great and mighty things, Lord, for you. So we love you, and pray blessing over all of them, and we give you all the praise for all that you do. Amen.
Thank you so much. And real quick, let's take one photo. I'll get you guys looking. All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, some people just turn on the camera. We'll go again. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you so much, Rachel, for taking time out. I know it's getting late for us on the East Coast. We've all got some more messaging to go do. So happy BOGO to everybody, and I will see you and your team later this month.
Yay! Can't wait. You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.